Some folks would call it loneliness, but I call it solitude. And let me tell you, there's a difference. A big one. Who am I? Well, I'm Barbara, 92 years young, living solo in the heart of Denver. People are quick to ask, aren't you lonely? Or suggest I should be closer to family. They worry about me being alone. But they don't get it. I've been through a lot in my life, more than most folks would want to know. I've lost friends, family, and even part of myself at times. But loneliness? No, that's something you choose. Being alone? Now that's something I've learned to embrace. You see, I've spent decades living alone, and I've come to realize that this is the life I've built, and I'm proud of it. It hasn't been easy, no sir. There were days when I didn't know if I'd make it through. Days when the silence was deafening, when I could hear the ticking of the clock louder than my own heartbeat. But here I am, still going, still standing. So if you're wondering how I do it, let me share the things I've learned along the way. These aren't just tips, honey. They're the rules I live by, the secrets that helped me survive and thrive. 1. Embrace the difference between being alone and feeling lonely. It's easy for people to look at me and assume that because I live alone, I must be lonely. Let me tell you, loneliness is a mindset. It comes from feeling disconnected, from thinking you need others around you all the time. But I've learnt the hard way that being alone doesn't have to mean being lonely. I've spent hours in this very chair, staring out the window, but I've never felt more connected to the world around me. The trick is finding your peace in solitude, nurturing the relationships that matter, even if they're few. Trust me, the quality of your connections means everything. Don't mistake silence for emptiness. 2. Create your own rhythm. The world moves fast, and when you live with others, your day follows their pace. But when you're on your own, you set the tempo. I start my mornings the same way: tea, birds, news, and breakfast. These small routines give me structure in a world that's constantly changing. It's my way of taking control when everything else feels uncertain. My day might look different from others, but it's my day, and I wouldn't have it any other way. 3. Keep yourself engaged with purpose. I won't lie to you. There were days when the isolation felt unbearable. There were moments when I wondered if I had any real purpose left. But then, I remembered my garden, my cat, and my daily walks. I've got something to care for every single day, and that's key. Having something that needs you keeps you grounded. It gives your life meaning. Even if it's just a plant or a pet, you hold on to that responsibility. It pulls you out of the darkness, one step at a time. Chapter 4. Be selective about your social circle. Let's face it, as you get older, your social energy isn't what it used to be. You can't give yourself to everyone anymore, and frankly, you don't need to. I've learned the hard way to be picky about who I let into my life. It's not about how many people you know, but about the depth of your relationships. I'd rather have 1 or 2 deep, meaningful friendships than 100 shallow acquaintances. The friends I keep close are the ones who check in, who truly care, and those are the ones who make life worth living. 5. Be at peace with yourself. When you've spent decades on your own, you learn to enjoy your own company. At first, it was hard. I had my doubts, my fears. There were times when I felt like a ghost walking through my own life. But over time, I found comfort in my solitude. Now, I know who I am. I know what I love, what I need, and what I'm capable of. When you're at peace with yourself, you stop fearing the silence. You start to find strength in it. 6 golden rules for living independently and happily. 1. Maintain a healthy mindset. Independence is about freedom, but that doesn't mean you do everything on your own. Learn to accept help when needed, and don't let the world tell you what you should do. Embrace the changes, the challenges. Life doesn't slow down just because you get older. Keep your mind open and flexible, and don't let fear hold you back. 2. Prioritize your health. If you're lucky enough to make it to my age, you'll realize that health is everything. Without it, nothing else matters. I make sure to eat well, stay active, and get my rest. You won't find me sitting around waiting for life to pass by. Whether it's a garden to tend to, a walk around the block, or some stretching, I make sure my body moves every day. Take care of yourself, and your independence will follow. 3. Foster meaningful connections. It's easy to isolate yourself, especially when the years start to add up. But I've learned that it's the people who matter most. Even if it's just a phone call or a visit, make time for the ones who bring joy into your life. Those connections, no matter how small, will carry you through the hard times. 4. Embrace freedom with responsibility. With independence comes responsibility. I take care of everything, my bills, my house, my health. It's not always easy, but the freedom that comes with being in charge of your own life is worth every bit of effort. It's a lot of work, but it's mine to manage, and I wouldn't have it any other way. 5. Stay curious and keep learning. Independence doesn't mean stagnation. I'm always trying new things, learning new skills, and challenging myself. Whether it's reading a book, picking up a new hobby, or just keeping my mind sharp, I know that growth doesn't stop just because I've reached a certain age. Life's an adventure, and I intend to keep exploring. 6. Laugh and enjoy. Life laughter keeps you young, honey. Don't take life too seriously. Find joy in the little things, the smell of coffee in the morning, the way the sun feels on your face, or the sound of a good laugh. Life's too short not to laugh at the absurdity of it all. Final thoughts. At 92, I can tell you one thing with certainty. Living independently isn't for the faint of heart. It takes courage, strength, and a hell of a lot of grit. But it's also one of the most empowering things I've ever done. I'm not isolated. I'm not helpless. I've carved out a life that's all my own, and for that, I am grateful. So, if you're sitting here wondering if you can live alone, if you're afraid of the silence, or if you fear what the future holds, I say this: you can do it. You don't need to be afraid of being on your own. Embrace it. It's a chance to create a life that's truly yours. Where are you watching from? Share your thoughts with me. How do you stay strong and independent in your own life?